So up to this point, you have a bunch of tricks. Not really tricks, but you've learned a lot of things in ZBrush, and you should be able to construct any number of things. And what we're going to start with, since we're still, kind of in the early stages, we're going to just do a little bit of sculpting. And a really easy thing to sculpt would be a skull, or a creature, or a face, or all sorts of cool things. Now, ZBrush's low-hanging fruit is like creatures and aliens and old men, because it's kind of made to do that. You know what? So let's go ahead and do that. Why fight it? So we're going to be sculptural, but just a head, keeping it simple, kind of keeping it small and manageable. So we're going to go into a sphere 3D, and we're going to start making a head. So we're going to go into edit mode. I'm going to choose a matte cap gray, just for something a little bit easier on my eyes to look at. And we need to make a polymesh 3D, and then we need to hit X to go across X symmetry here. And we'll go into our geometry tab, down here to Dynamesh, and turn off project, turn off blur, and crank that resolution down to maybe like 100-ish. It doesn't need to be too high. Here's 136. Hit Dynamesh, and we've got a Dynamesh. Now, the basic head shape, let's go ahead and preferences, edit, line curve surface. Basic head is shaped like this, give or take. And then from the side, it's probably shaped a little more like this. So, and this isn't going to be an anatomy lesson, but, I'll show you a couple tricks if you want to, kind of construct a little bit more. So here is a basic egg head shape from the top. You're going to see we have some nice draft going on. It actually goes to the wider cranium, down here to the narrower front. From the front, it's vaguely egg shaped. The sides will be a little bit trimmed. Let's go ahead and get our clip curve, and we can go ahead and trim those sides a little bit if we'd like. Narrower from the front than it is from the side. In fact, if you want to, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to Subtool and do Append a Cube. We want to fit our head inside that cube. Now, instead of using a bunch of transpose stuff, which you could certainly do, one thing you can do is go down here to the Deformation tab and do Unify. And that is going to actually fit that head right into the bounding box of that cube. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Another thing we can do is let's go ahead and tap that cube and turn on transparency and turn on ghost for me. And let's go make this a Dynamesh. So turn off project, turn off blur, and just Dynamesh that cube. And for the cube, what we're going to do is go into transform, activate symmetry. And right now we have X symmetry, but we're also going to make some construction lines along the side. So what I'm going to do is do transform X, Y, and Z. And basically, I just want to make some lines down the middle of this box. So we're going to make a line down the middle here, and we're going to make a line down the middle here. And on the sides, we're going to make a line down the middle here, and a line down the middle here. Now, from the top of the skull to the bottom of the chin is generally your eye line. So we know the eyes are going to go somewhere in this area. Then above the eye line, we're going to have our brow line. Now, from the... Oops. I'm going to go ahead and turn off... Transform. Let's turn off X and Y. We'll leave X symmetry on. Now we've got our eye line here, so here's our eyeball. And then we have our brow line, goes above there. And then between the brow line and the bottom of the jaw is our nose line, so in between here-ish. So our nose goes somewhere in here. So here's our nose. We'll just kind of draw that on there. Now, we're drawing on a cube here. We actually need to be drawing on our face, but I'm just demonstrating where if you want to construct something on a cube first, just to kind of make it easier, and then compare your findings to your sphere in here, you can certainly do that. And then 1/3, you've got your lips somewhere in here. Halfway down the eyeball is going to be the edge of your mouth. Here's the cleft, or the top part of the chin here, and your chin's going to be here. Your jaw is going to be generally this shape. Your cheekbones are going to come in this way. Here's your eyelids. Here's your nose here. And then from your brow to your bottom of your nose is going to be your ears. So here's the ears from the front view. Now from the side view, your jaw is actually going to be here-ish. So here's the middle of your skull from the side, and it's actually pretty close. And then your cranium here, so I think your eye line straight back. Again, this is an anatomy lesson. I need to brush up on my anatomy before I start doing that kind of stuff. But your face is going to look something like this, and then your eyeballs are actually going to be set back a bit here. And your nose is actually going to come out here. And then, so brow line to the nose. Now the nose, bottom of the nose straight back, and the brow line straight back is your ear. It's going to go behind this midline and kind of tilt back just a hair. So then you got your ear in here. And then you've got your neck and all that good stuff here. Here's your basic head. And you're going to have your temple, and then your hairline's going to be kind of in here and then come back around. So there's a head. Now, problem is, we actually need that to go on our skull, but we can kind of use this as a reference. So if I go into our subtools here and grab our head, we can actually, because we have transparency and ghost, we can actually go ahead and use these as kind of a guide. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark our eye line here, and I'm going to mark our nose line here. So let's just say we got to put our nose here, 1/3 and 1/3. Here's our mouth line here. Here's the cheeks are going to go, and the ear. Here's the midline. So we're going to put our ear here-ish, and then our jaw is going to be here, and this actually needs to come out. Chin's going to be a little stronger. We don't have a nose yet. You know, this is all about right. This here, oops, select our skull here. This might be a little bit rounder here, but it's hard to say. So we got this marked in here. We got our eyeballs marked in here on the side view, let's say. And the mouth is going to come back this way. So, I don't know. Looks like we've got our head constructed. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our sphere here. Oops, let's put our eyeballs in there. Here's our eye line, and then here's our brow line. And our hairline, if we want to go ahead and put that in there. So turn off our cube. So here's our basic head constructed. So now if we want to, we can go ahead and kind of construct a skull off that. I'm going to go ahead and hit L to turn off our lazy mouse for our standard brush while we use it. And I'm going to crank it up just a hair. Go ahead and control swipe when you need to. So we've got our brow here. I'm going to be switching between the clay brush and the standard brush. And here's our nose. So here's our nose line. If we were digging a skull in, we just dig a skull in right here. But if we're making a nose, let's go ahead and do the invert of that. And we'll just go ahead and mask this out. And we can transpose, or we can use our move brush. We'll go ahead and transpose a little pig nose out there. I'm going to change my smooth to a smooth stronger, and use trim dynamic to kind of trim this shape down, and then use clay brush, kind of build it up. We build it to the sides a little bit. And this is going to look probably pretty ugly for a while, but I'm just kind of blocking in the shapes here. And here's our little nose. And our mouth is going to go on a curve here, which it kind of already is. Let's go ahead and give him a little bit more of a chin here. That chin's going to come straight back to the jaw. And then the ear is going to sit behind the jaw here. We can kind of block that in maybe. Give him a little ear hole. And then, actually, let's bring our cube back here. Our ear hole should actually be here. Ear should be a little bit higher. There we go. Ear hole, ear-ish, and again the ear is something I would sculpt once and then just plop it in later, but let's call that an ear for now. We can go ahead and pull that out so we can kind of see it from the front a little bit. Now kind of dig this back in, and the back of the cranium will be here, and we'll have a neck poking out. If you want to go ahead and kind of block in the bust, you can certainly do that, but I'm going to get there in just a second. We're going to block in the cheekbones, so you've got kind of the plane of a face here. And then these go up, and it kind of follows the temple back. Now I'm going to kind of use the trim dynamic brush to kind of get that a little bit better. And here's our hairline, of course. We can go ahead and keep that hairline in there for reference if you want. So it'll kind of swoop down around, and then give it a little bit of sideburns here. And we've got his eyes dug in, and his mouth here will just be eyes straight down is going to be the corners of the mouth here. And the mouth's going to kind of dig up here, so here, and then he's going to have a bottom lip, and then this chin. So we'll filter him here, here, and back around, and then up, and then these little folds here on this side. So head basically blocked in here. Going to fill this in just a little bit, and of course you probably want some reference up, or have some head reference up and look at it if you're making a head, and even if you're making like a creature head, but it's based on some human proportions, or if it's based on animal proportions, or both. You're probably going to do both at some point. Just have reference up, and be looking at it, making sure it's kind of getting what you want out of it. Now at this point, he's got kind of a mean looking Frankenstein head, and he kind of looks like a cardinal or a I don't know. I'm seeing some sort of religious figure out of this. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me bringing my baggage to it. But Spanish Inquisition type dude, kind of mean and crusty. But at this point, it's almost anything you want it to be, for sure, because you can make massive changes. And we're not even doing creature stuff yet. In fact, I might not do creature stuff while I talk about it, at least not real time. I'll probably take a little bit of time and just kind of play around and explore and then talk about it later after I'm done exploring, because it is kind of boring to watch me just kind of sculpt, I think, at least. Kind of dig this in here. And now mouth bags and stuff we'll get to in due time. That's stuff we can add later. That's, you know, get in here and concept and have a good time and get stuff done quick. Don't worry about mouth bags and animatable geometry and edge flow and blah blah blah. We'll get there. Believe me, we'll get there. Maybe not in the ZBrush course, but we will do topology and all that fun stuff. Not really. Well, I mean, it's not bad. That's as fun as you make it, I suppose. But we'll go ahead and tuck these lips in here, and then they're going to kind of build up on the corners of the mouth here, and then the lips. Nice. So we've got kind of a mean, weirdo looking dude. But he doesn't have eyeballs yet. Now, while I'm just concepting out creatures and stuff, I'm probably going to leave this... Oh, also want to maybe probably hit P to turn on perspective on and off. You can kind of evaluate it. And, you know, you probably want to change materials and just kind of test and see how things are looking. And change lighting. So if you want to change lighting, you want to go choose like a basic material. Go over here. Let's go ahead and dock our light menu over here, and you can have, this is just as seen as one light, so you can kind of just go around and kind of test your lighting from different angles and due diligence. You know, make sure you're working in the round, of course, and then also changing your lighting, changing your materials, and doing all that good, you know, stuff I usually don't do, but I probably should do. Do as I say, not as I do. And let's go ahead and give this guy a little bit of a bust. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly transpose out a neck here. And he needs it a little bit further up, I believe. And we'll keep him kind of slender for now.